Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
There will be an ad at the end of this video. Now, a lot of you know how much I love RVs, and I talk about RVs from time to time on this channel, and I'm joking because I'm not a big fan of them. One of the most common questions I get or inquiries I get is people asking me what they can do because they've bought a defective RV. And I used to handle RV cases, but I kind of got away from that because in Michigan, they became very, very hard to pursue. In some other states, they're easier to pursue. But in Michigan, for example, the Lemon Law does not cover them. So you can have all kinds of problems with it. If it's still under warranty, you can go after them under the Magnuson-Moss Warranty Act. But dealers often have buyers sign all kinds of disclaimers, making it very, very difficult to pursue. However, this story was sent to me by a whole bunch of people who know how I feel about RVs, and it's from News Nation Now. Camping World reaches $3.5 million settlement after double charging customers. Michaela Bourgeois wrote this, and this is from KOIN. Up in the Northwest, they love it when their call letters spell out words like coin and king and so on. RV dealer Camping World reached a $3.5 million settlement with the Oregon Department of Justice after an investigation found the company would claw back its advertised discounted prices. That's according to the Oregon Attorney General's office making that announcement recently. The settlement follows a multi-year consumer protection investigation led by the Oregon Department of Justice. The settlement orders Camping World to return $3 million in refunds to affected customers. Their investigation found that Camping World would advertise a heavily discounted dare-to-compare price. During negotiations, Camping World would claw back its purported discount by double charging consumers for freight and prep charges that had already been included in the advertised price. This is from the statement by the Attorney General. She said also, this is not how Oregonians expect or deserve to be treated. Under the settlement, Camping World's required to pay the state $3 million to refund customers who purchased an RV from the chain between January 1 of 2017 and December 31st of 2018. And they're saying that you, in that case, very well could have paid more for the RV than its advertised price, and you might not have realized that, so you need to go back and check if, in fact, you bought an RV from Camping World in that time frame. Customers who purchased an RV after December 18th of 2018 may also be eligible for a refund and must submit a written complaint to the Oregon DOJ within 6 months of this announcement to potentially receive a refund. Under the settlement, Camping World also cannot charge customers more than the advertised price of a vehicle, with the exception of optional goods or accessories, license and registration fees, or other taxes. So if you're looking at an RV and it says, here's the price, and you go, by the way, I'd like to get another microwave for it. Well, they can charge you for that because that's an optional thing you're adding to it. The Oregon DOJ explained that the offering price must be available to all customers and also cannot be contingent on whether a customer is paying with cash or financing a deal. And that's actually one of the things that some people don't know is how much money dealerships, both with RVs and with automobiles, how much dealerships make when they can sell financing to the customer, and they can make money doing that as well. So when you go into a dealership and say, I want to buy a car, and you start negotiating the price, and if you say, I'm going to pay cash, you've made a mistake. Because when you say that to them, they say, oh, shoot, we're not going to make as much money off this person. We need to make it up someplace else. Because if they can get the financing for you through the dealership, they're going to get a slice of that also. So here, the allegation is, on some level, the dealership, when they heard you were paying cash, would do things to make that up. The settlement includes other consumer protection measures, including banning the company from double charging customers for any goods or services already included in the price, and Camping World must disclose charges on a label attached to the vehicle. So the price can't just show up in the last document. It's got to be someplace attached to the vehicle. But also notice that they have been banned from double charging customers. Now, you would think that that's something that they should already not be doing. And when you have to tell somebody, by the way, we need you to put this into an agreement you're going to sign, be legally bound to, that you'll stop double charging people. That's unusual, to say the least. Additionally, the company must use clear abbreviations in purchase agreements. This measure comes after the DOJ's investigation found that Camping World employees would use the term environ, E-N-V-I-R-O-N, environ, on purchase orders to describe, guess what? Guess what that's describing? A limited warranty for weather damage. The Oregon Attorney General's office explained. Now, calling it a limited warranty for weather damage sounds more like an insurance policy, but that's between them, the insurance regulators, and the state of Oregon, so I'm not going to get into that. Officials added that Camping World cannot make a free offer, with the purchase of an RV unless it is offered by a manufacturer of another party, excluding Camping World or its Good Sam Club, because Camping World owns both companies, so calling it free is illusory. So the AG says, I thank the civil enforcement team at DOJ for their focus and persistence in this investigation and in helping to make restitution to those affected by Camping World's practices. KOIN reached out to Camping World. This story will be updated if they receive a response because they hadn't received one at press time. And so I have spoken to far too many purchasers of automobiles and RVs to even hazard a guess as to how many that might be, but well beyond the hundreds. And I've seen purchase documents in probably half or three quarters of those conversations. So someone comes into my office and says, I bought a car or an RV. And I'm purposely including them both here because the transactions are similar. And even if you never buy an RV, you can learn something here about buying an automobile. And I say, show me the purchase agreement. And there's going to be a purchase agreement, a contract that the buyer signed with the dealership that spells out what's going on there. So it says, we're the dealer and we're selling you, the buyer, this thing. And the thing is described, it's the make, model of whatever it is, the VIN, and then there's going to be a whole column of numbers down one side. And in many states, they've got an application for title or application for registration that mimics this document. So in Michigan, it's an RD 108. I've spoken about this recently. And that document, again, contains all the same information, but it's submitted to the state. So either one will work. And by the way, they should pretty much match up. But the state is more specific about put this stuff in this box, this stuff in this box. And of course, the dealership can use its own form and whatever terms they want to use. And so when you're looking at this form, most people talk to the dealer's representative and negotiate the buying price. How much will this cost? We'll sell it to you for $75,000. I'll pay 70, 72 and a half. Fine, we have a deal. You shake hands at 72 and a half. You're not done yet. You've just begun. 72 and a half might be the number you put in the top box. There's a bunch of stuff underneath that. And the amazing thing is how those numbers can dance. They can change. They can transmogrify. And all of a sudden you find yourself being charged for all kinds of stuff. And as they pointed out, they were charging customers for things that were already built into that price. So they say, well, there's a delivery charge, there's a prep fee, there's a this, there's a that. Really? And so when you're negotiating the price and you shake hands at the 72.5 or whatever the number might have been, you aren't done yet. And unfortunately, there's a psychology to this. They know that when you are looking at these things online and it says MSRP $79.95, $79,995, there you go. And you got them down to $72.5, that you think, wow, I just hit a home run, and you let down your guard. And that's when they start filling this thing out. They go, here's what the bottom line is, $89,456. What's all this? Well, sales tax, destination, prep, service, this, double secret probation. What? And so Don't let your guard down yet, and go through that line item by line item and fly spec it. And ask yourself, what is this? What is this? What is this? Because a lot of the stuff they're charging you for is theoretically discretionary, meaning that they could say, oh, we won't charge you for that. But they will, especially if you don't call them on it. Here, the state of Oregon is saying, we caught them in a 2-year period from January of 2017 all the way through December of 2018, double dipping on stuff. And they're saying that they're doing this by putting in freight and prep charges that were already built into the price, and so people would wind up paying that twice. So there's no argument because they've agreed to it. They've said, yeah, we're going to settle these charges, and that's the allegation. Now, this is only going to affect people, presumably, who bought vehicles in Oregon. Now, there's camping worlds all over the place, so you might want to double check to see what you got charged if you bought an RV at any dealership, actually. Go pull the purchase agreement, take a look. But I am always curious where you've got a big organization and they say, oh, we found this little subset inside the organization doing something. And Camping World's a fairly large organization, and they're run pretty well in terms of, I don't think that each location is doing its own thing. I suspect that the higher-ups there know what's going on at their other places. Of course, if they want to say no, all of those Oregon dealers were renegades. Actually, I'm not sure how many Camping World dealerships there are in Oregon, but that's not the point. My point is that usually when a corporate entity has one of its subsidiaries doing something, you're always curious if you can go up and find that it's actually happening everywhere. So it's an interesting story. If you bought one in Oregon, take a look at it. If you bought one from Camping World, anywhere else, take a look at it. And if you bought an RV from anybody, anywhere, I would take a look at it. Because I have gone through so many purchase agreements with people. I go through and go, you bought this, you bought this, you bought this. And I hear somebody go, what? I bought what now? Yeah, you bought this roof protection sealant warranty contract. You didn't know that? Oh, that's $3,700. Oh, the guy told me I had to buy that. Really? Oh, okay. Well, so the key here is when you're shopping, go through that line item by line item and figure out what those things are. And remember that you're not done negotiating just because you agreed on the top line price. Top line price is just the beginning of the negotiation, not the end. So thank you to everybody who sent this, because pretty much everyone did. Camping World reaches $3.5 million settlement after double charging its customers. Michaela Bourgeois wrote that for News Nation Now. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye. I told you there'd be an ad at the end of the video. Here we are. I'm here to talk to you about Home Title Lock. I've talked to you about Home Title Lock before. Home Title Lock is a service that will protect you and your home or your property against people who might try to do things like, steal your house. And, it's one of those things that if you've never heard about it before, sounds absurd. How can someone steal a house? But of course, what we're talking about really is that people will go in and file documents with whoever it is that registers these things in your area, indicating that you either sold the house to them or that they own your house or that they're going to mortgage your house. And next thing you know, you got problems. And the longer it takes you to find these things out, the worse it gets for you. So Home Title Lock, when you sign up with it, they do 3 things, and it's their triple lock protection. Lock number 1 is they provide 24/7 monitoring. They'll detect any tampering with your title or your mortgage, okay? Lock 2 is if they spot something, which they'll spot very quickly, their proprietary system scans multiple data sources, and it will trigger an alert of any change to your title, and they'll let you know. And if something happens where you've got to actually go in and try to get it restored or straightened out, they will help you with that. They've got a U.S.-based restoration team, and they will work with lawyers and experts and so on to straighten out the mess. But the important thing here is how quickly you find out, because the longer it goes, the harder it is to straighten out, and the more likely it is that the bad people got away, okay? So this is important. So I'll give you an example. And I've done videos on stories just like this one, but here we go. Tampa couple's under construction home was snatched by fraudsters in common deed scam. And this is from Daniel Antos, who wrote this. This couple was building a home in Tampa, Florida. They weren't living there, but they set up security cameras, and they noticed a couple people coming out and wandering around once in a while, but they thought nothing of it because the people didn't appear to do anything but look at the house under construction. But then they found out that that couple had filed documents with the county clerk's office indicating that they had acquired title to the home. And all it took them was about $1 and a piece of paper, because they submitted a quitclaim deed to the clerk, and the clerk accepted it for filing, and boom, now, according to the clerk, they own this house, not the couple who's actually paying to have it built. So the husband says, just like that, your house is stolen, it's gone. It only cost 70 cents and some paperwork. And by the way, nowadays everything's gone up in price. 70 cents to file the document that could mean your house belongs to somebody else. Their nightmare is not an isolated incident. A prosecutor in Florida told reporters that this couple who did this to this home, that is the ones who filed the fraudulent documents, had targeted several local properties, making many trips to the county clerk's office. Using forged signatures on fraudulent quitclaim deeds, the couple claimed ownership of at least 3 properties in the Tampa area. Now, they were both arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit fraud, and they are awaiting trial. But the problem, of course, is that once these documents get filed, they're part of the record now. So if someone does a title search on the property, they go, oh, you quitclaimed the property to this couple. No, you didn't. So this is what Home Title Lock watches out for. So go to HomeTitleLock.com/Lehto's Law and use promo code Lehto's Law to get a 30-day free trial of triple lock protection and a free title history report. That title history report is an amazing thing. I mentioned before, I signed up for this a while back, and within 30 seconds of seeing the report, I spotted a problem. It was a mistake made by somebody else. Now, nobody was trying to steal my property, but I found a mistake that somebody had made, and nobody would have caught it otherwise. So it's a great service, but the triple lock protection, again, keep this at the front of your mind. The idea here is that these things can happen, and they are happening. And the sooner you find out, the better. It's one of those examples of something where if it goes a little bit too long before it gets caught, it becomes exponentially harder to straighten out. So the triple lock protection is this. 1, they provide the necessary 24/7 monitoring to detect any tampering with your title or your mortgage. 2, they issue urgent alerts. They've got a proprietary system that scans multiple data sources, and it triggers timely alerts of any changes to your title. They'll let you know. 3, they work with you on the restoration. If you're a title fraud victim, their U.S.-based restoration team will work with lawyers and experts to help restore the title. And this is all extremely important stuff. And again, it's how quickly you respond. Because if this happens, number 1, you might not find out for a while otherwise, right? So somebody comes along, files these documents, remortgages your house, and when will you find this out now? Well, somewhere down the road, you're going to get a notice from a bank saying, how come you're not making payments on that house if they used your address for the mortgage? But also, it could just be that somewhere down the road, you go to do something like, I don't know, refinance, remortgage your house. And they go, oh, you can't, you don't own it anymore. What? And, you can get that straightened out. It'll take some time. But the longer you let it go before you address it, the harder it gets to fix. And so that's the key, is how quickly you respond to this and how quickly you find out. So again, go to HomeTitleLock.com/Lehto's Law and use promo code Lehto's Law to get a 30-day free trial of triple lock protection and the free title history report. And that free title history report very well could be an eye-opener. You might learn something about your property you didn't already know. So check that out. But again, it's a triple lock protection, and Home Title Lock lehto.com. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. Never ask a woman who's eating ice cream straight from the carton, how's she doing?